Hello everyone, welcome back to the SMITE guide to Xbalanque. Now that we're finally done with Zonqui officially and completely, we can get back into Zonqui. What the hell is wrong with me? We can talk about Xbalanque. Now, I've discussed Slash and I've discussed Conquest with Xbalanque, which are the best modes for Xbalanque, specifically Conquest, where his ult can really, well, in both Slash and in Conquest, his ult can be extremely useful. Even just the blindness portion, but Xbalanque is a little less useful in Joust, but not because of his ult. Actually, it's because his branching bolas tend to not be as impactful in teamfights in Joust because of the lower number of people. The conceptual idea behind branching bolas is that you're basically doing splash damage to other enemies nearby, which, in a Conquest or a Slash game, with 5 enemies, plus potential minions, you will probably be doing a lot more damage than it initially seems, especially since they've buffed the branching bolas to actually scale off a third of your power, which is really nice. But that doesn't really change the problem for Joust of now I've got less people to potentially do extra damage to, so he is a little bit less effective. I actually almost never use him in Joust, but I am aware that other people may be so fond of him that they would want to take him into Joust, so here we are. But just be aware that if you are going from a Xbalanque in Slash or Conquest, and you're taking Xbalanque from those game modes into Joust, and it seems like you're less effective, that's why, if you can't quite put your finger on why. We're still going to basically ignore branching bolas in the early game because that costs a lot of mana. Now, the enemy team composition, they've only got the one tank in the form of Bologna, so we're going to go for the Gilded Arrow. We're going to be going for crits here. I'm going to get some health potions. And we're going to get a mana potion, and then we're going to go right on ahead and grab, I think Aegis would be the best choice right now. And, yes. We're going to do... Now, I've seen an increasing number of people who try to go for the mana buff. If you've got the team comp for it, go for the damage buff. It really depends. It's more about team comp than anything else. It was a nice try, though. I knew she was going to do that, but I was too late to actually do anything about it. Interesting. If my poison darts are up, the Bologna seems to be missing from action. Now, keep in mind that normally you don't start with a wave here. Normally you want to go for the damage buff. Just things goofed so much. I barely dodged that one, but I had my health potion up, so I wasn't too concerned about it. Please, here, let me finish this off for my Gilded Arrow proc. Thank you. Grab this. Oh, no! Alright. There we go, there we go. We're gonna get rid of these minions. Why is Tyr still in there? He overcommitted. He wanted to take 2 with him. I can understand why he overcommitted, that's fine. Ah, that's a shame. Oh, she almost picked him up. Now, we still overall won that battle because first off, we got First Blood, second off, Persephone was still alive to clean up the wave. So, in the long run, we did win that. I'm not going to buy any potions at this point. Those should be enough for me at this particular point in time. So, it's not really that big of a deal. The fact that Hoagie got both of the kills in exchange is a little concerning. He is likely to be a serious threat later on in the game as a result of that, so we are going to want to at some point focus him out and pick him off. It's going to be pretty important for the survival of our team later on. Put the temp ward there. And let's go back and get the mana buff for Persephone. I threw my bola just a hair too early. Now, this is actually a really important thing. Another reason why you shouldn't start with branching bolas in Joust is very specifically It'll tempt you into taking the mana buff when you really shouldn't be needing that. You chose to take Branching Bolas, you kind of should be dealing with the consequences. I don't like taking Branching Bolas, and I don't like people justifying, as I've seen this before as Xbalanque a bunch of times, where Xbalanque, mostly in Arena actually, though, not necessarily Joust specifically, but I have seen I should not have done that. I was way too aggressive there. I didn't even hit Iset, which if I'd committed more, I didn't commit hard enough to that, to be honest. That's my fault. Yeah, that was very unfortunate. That was a good shot by the Hou there. But again, he's got literally all 5 of their kills. This is an interesting situation where he's going to be the most serious threat on the enemy team, but if we take him out, that is literally all of their strength just down and out for the count right away. And they're not in a strong position HP-wise. Yeah, I'm not surprised he went for that. I was going to say, don't do it, Tyr. I'm not ready for this yet. I shouldn't have committed that hard in the first place. I either tried to... The problem right there was I hesitated. If I had gone 100% into it, okay. If I'd gone 100% into that fight and hit the E set, I would have taken her with me. I hesitated, and I died for nothing. Keep that in mind. If you're going to do something in Smite, go all the way or don't go at all. Because the best case scenario, if you make a bad decision like that, your best case scenario is to take someone with you if you fully commit. Because if you fully commit and you still can't take someone, you were never going to in the first place, so... yeah, he's really... Notice he actually specifically went for me there. I am the hunter. Usually it's pretty tempting to say, if you're playing a particular type of character, in this case, I'm playing a hunter, it's pretty tempting for one to say, oh yeah, they're just focusing me out, when that's not necessarily what's going on here. It's more likely that he's recognized that even if we turn around that fight, that as long as I'm dead, we can't do anything with it, right? Now he's just looking for... There we go. The comeback. Thanks to Tyr. Okay, I don't have the damage output right now to take her on like that 1v1. I want to know where Bellona is. But I don't have that luxury, so we're just going to pop back here. There's Bellona. That's good. We're going to go for these minions here because I'm going to be trying to keep up with my boy Hou here. There we go. Hello. Okay. So they warded our blue buff. Please leave me alone, Bellona. Thank you. Tyr fighting Bellona. That's a little bit risky considering she's higher than he is. Now notice that... Okay. Come on. There you go. Oh, he's seriously overcommitted. Now, notice that I went aggressive for a bit there, which is not what he was expecting. I've been playing fairly hesitantly, so the turnaround to aggression on that one was why he missed that. Just a random thing I wanted to point out. I am not looking to fight under their tower. I really am not. I have lifesteal. I just am not 100% sure I can make this work. Not yet. Okay, here we go. Once my poison darts come back up. Yeah, okay, I should have just gone back. Looks like they might be able to turn that around. Nope, not with that ESET ult. That was a good ult. Alright. Oh, I know why he's focusing me on. I have 4 out of 5 kills. Okay. Interesting. So I'm doing okay right now. I am being a little too aggressive. I'm making a couple of wrong decisions. I'm too hesitant when I should be aggressive, and I'm too aggressive when I should be hesitant. I'm not matching the situation here. That's entirely on me. Okay. You're just going to jump over, so I really don't care. I'm not sure why he threw away his ult like that. That was a horrifically bad choice. I know he was still in there and backing. I really don't care at this point in time. I actually should be picking this up. And then we just farm. We're going to put a single point into my ult first. So that way I can reach under their tower if I need to. I didn't quite hit ESET with that, which is unfortunate. Good try, good try. Alright. Good try, by tier. Good try. Not sure why they're bothering laughing about that, but okay. I know Hoyi's angles. Come on, guy. I'm diamond with Hoyi. I know exactly how his angles work. Don't even worry about it. Very nice. He did beads out of it. Okay. She did not. There we go. Grab branching bolas, because now we're going to be using them. I don't know why I'm tanking this. What are you doing? She's going hardcore into that. Oh, that was nice job. That is exactly what I'm talking about. He fully committed. He could have walked out of that. Went all in, got the kill. Love to see it. That is exactly what I'm talking about. If you're going to go try something, commit fully. Again, worst case scenario, you get the kill and you die taking them out with you. Well, worst case scenario, you fail. But if you're going to fail with a full commit, you're going to fail without a full commit anyways. So, it's kind of like whatever. You just have to make sure you're making the right decision. And that just comes with time and experience. Obviously, you shouldn't always choose to be aggressive. That's nonsense. But if you do choose to be aggressive, if the time seems correct for aggression, fully commit to that aggression. Don't back out halfway, because that's just going to fail you like it did with me earlier. Just make sure that you're choosing the right time and you're actually committing at the correct time. Like I said, if you fail while full committing, you were going to fail in the first place, and the whole thing was obviously a bad idea to begin with. She's looking to ult me, I think. Come here, Hoyi. You're not... Oh, you're... Okay. No, you don't. That was my poison that got that, so I apologize to the ESET for accidentally stealing her kill. I did not intend to. It just kind of happened that way. Fair enough. I deserve that. I should not have been there at all. I'm going to be really honest. Okay, we have Deathbringer, which is pretty huge. Yeah, we need to focus out Hoyi more. Now, interestingly enough, notice that despite the fact that he's got 9 kills, literally 9 out of 11 of their kills, and I have only 6, I'm a higher level. I've just been farming better than he has. Alright, that's what it comes down to. And the ESET, even though she's 2 and 3, because she's been killing the waves, she's been getting enough experience to actually outlevel him, which is something that I'm specifically talking about because it's really important that you understand that getting kills is not everything. In fact, getting kills, this is actually a prime example, getting kills is not the fast track to higher levels or more gold. It is the slower path. If you're wondering why your junglers aren't ganking as often, that's why. Ganks have to be convenient for them to be worth it for a jungler. And that's something that I often don't get a really great example of, but this is a prime situation for me to very seriously discuss this very specific thing of, yeah, kills are not as worth it as farming is. Okay. And it's very important that you understand that kills are just not as worthwhile as they used to be. Alright? So if your jungler isn't ganking like you think they should be, that's why. If you're wondering why you've got so many kills and yet you're behind on golden experience, that's why. I cannot believe that poison dart did not hit him. Ah, shoot. I didn't have any mana. If I did, I could have done my Tiger's Leap and killed him. That's a shame. Ran out of mana there. Alright. I am going to need Dominance, and then I'm going to need to pick up Toxic Blade. Toxic Blade, because between the E-set and the Bologna, as well as the Aussie, he's just obviously picked up. I will need the anti-heal. I'll probably pick up Toxic Blade first, because that anti-healing is going to... I'm going to need that anti-healing. And then I'll pick up Dominance right afterwards. Unless I just go, how much? She's not really building physical protections. I might go for just straight up Bloodforge. Maybe. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to be picking up my Toxic Blade first, because that's going to do me more good. I'm going to pick up the Ancient Blade first, because that's going to take me, a couple of seconds. But yes, that's my plan right now. So I'm going to go for Toxic Blade, because they have enough self-healing that I'm going to need that. And then afterwards, I'm going to pick up either Bloodforge if the Bologna continues to build low physical protections, or I'm going to pick up Dominance if she does pick up some actually serious physical protections. Because Berserker's Shield is just not enough protections for me to build something as hardcore as Dominance for that. You can have that, that's fine. Oh, no problem, no problem. Do not even worry about it, my guy. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. You did not just try that. All right. Interesting reaction. I should have gone for him and I didn't. Also, I'm not sure why Persephone waited so long to ult that. That was a bit odd, but okay. Not a huge problem. Now, see, unfortunately, remember where I was talking about with Xbalanque's branching bolus having less impact in Joust? Hou-Yi is actually the complete reverse, and it's really interesting having this matchup because it is a really fascinating comparison between Xbalanque, who is better in larger group situations like Conquest and Slash, versus Hou-Yi, who is better in Joust very specifically. It's about, besides Duel, this is, and I don't cover Duel because I hate duels, I think they're silly. It's not really the intention of a MOBA is for one-on-ones, so I don't generally play them, but it is very interesting where this character that's really good at 1v1s is against a ADC who is really good in group situations, and it's very apparent. You can see the difference here. I kind of need to hit my shot. You did not just commit to that. Boom. Now, he's worth more than me at this particular point. Yeah, he was worth more than me. That was a mistake on his part. He should not have done that. I got more out of that than he did. She's still not building really serious physical protections. I'm going to go for Bloodforge. That's what I'm going to do. I think that's going to do me more good, because she's got block stacks anyways, so it's kind of like when I do hit you, I need to be healing and doing a lot of damage anyways. And while I don't have the penetrations, based on what this is probably going to wind up being Shifter's Shield, so she's only getting, I think it's anywhere from 85 to 120 extra protections. It's just not worth it for me to build penetrations for just the one character building so little physical protections. Yeah, I know she's got Warrior's Axe, but that's only 10 protections, so. Whoa, that was a terrible time to sneeze. I'm just glad nothing was happening. Yo. That was a good shot. I goofed that one. Excellent. Come on, Persephone. Come on, Tyr. Yes. Okay, okay. He went down. That's good. He unfortunately took Persephone with him, but a 2-for-2 trade, that's an okay. That's okay. They're not going to be able to do anything to the tower, or at least not much. So that works out. Tyr might actually win that fight. He's really good at dodging her shots. Not Hou Yi's so much. He has a bit of a problem with Hou Yi's shots, but he really is good at dodging hers. I'm guessing this Tyr plays a decent amount of E-set to be able to predict the shots like that, or at least roughly estimate the kind of pattern that she's going to be busting out here. This is not something that you just... Unless either that, possibly, or the Tyr fights a lot of E-sets. That was a good Aegis by her. But I think he's got her dead to rights. Nope, he timed that wrong. Oh, that was rough. He had that up until the very end. Unless I miss my guess, they're probably going to go for the Bull Demon King. No, they're not. Let me hit level 18 real quick. Where are you at? You're right there. Where's Bologna? Going for the tower. Alright, you're just going to straight up take the tower. They gotta have a ward there. No, I'm not fighting that yet. I'm not ready yet. Good shot, good ricochet. Did not see that coming. I didn't think he was going to go for that. Now they're going with the Bull Demon King. They should not be, though. Pretty bold move. We need Tyr, though. No, she doesn't get out of that alive. Oh, you are actually stuck in that. If I'd known that, I would have committed. Oh, no, I didn't beads fast enough, but he took him out, so that's fine. I was so slow in my beads reaction there. I really need Bloodforge so I can get that damage output out there. Because he's right now rocking, yeah, he's rocking 195 power. That'll go up when he upgrades the Leather Cowl. Good play, good play. Nice job. That was really good. That was really good. And that's actually really important for us to win that there, because now they can't use the Bull Demon King. They're not going to be able to turn that around. I think the stealing of the mana buff is a little excessive. He probably should be going for the Phoenix, but I'm going to be able to come back with Bloodforge, so that's pretty huge. Now, at this point, I'm just going to be saving up for the Diamond Arrow, not the Diamond Arrow, the Ornate Arrow for my increased crits, and I'm going to be basically looking to crit my way to victory here. Now that I have Toxic Blade as well, that's going to be very helpful. Can we, she doesn't need saving. Does she kind of, nah, she doesn't. She beats that, didn't she? Good dash, good dash. Good. Let's do a bit of farming. Maybe we can get some poke going on here, too. Nope, he's too far away. He backed off real quick for that one. I just want these. Okay. The immediate backup on that Bologna. Yep. Alright, I got some poke, but Bologna took more. Nice play, nice play. That was a good ult by the Hou Yi there. Nice. Oh, wait. I have health shield, actually. What am I talking about? He does not have the health for this. I do, though. Yeah. Good, good. Yeah, we win right here. Alright, now you could see at the very end there with that final fight that I actually killed the Hou Yi through a branching bola, which is exactly what I was talking about earlier, where the branching bolas can really make a big difference in team fights, and with Joust being a 3-on-3, there's just less opportunity there. This really is one of the two modes in which I very rarely use Xbalanque in, and frankly, this is my least favorite mode to play him in for exactly this reason. His branching bolas, which is one of his most unique assets as a hunter, just is not that effective in Joust. Now, also, I want to point out the very small... Don't blame your warrior. I also want to really point out the extreme difference in score compared to gold, right? He's less than 200 gold ahead of me, despite having 15 kills. He has 6 more kills than me and 1 less death, right? And yet, he's only got 150-ish gold. I can't head math right now because it's late. But he's less than 200 gold ahead of me, despite having so many more kills. Kills are not about the golden experience. They're about denying your opponent kills and experience. When you kill an opponent, you're supposed to be turning that into farm, which is what happens in Conquest. And it holds true for all modes, except for Arena to some extent. In Xbalanque in Arena is fairly interesting, where the blind part of his ult is fairly useless, because people are generally so clustered up in Arena, most of the time, that the blind part of his ult effect doesn't matter. You're going to see this in, you're going to see what I'm talking about in the next episode when I cover Arena with Xbalanque very specifically. But Xbalanque in Arenas, his blind effect on his ult really doesn't matter that much. Again, mostly because people are so clustered that they can just see each other anyways within that circle that they can see. What you generally want to use Xbalanque's ult for is the move and range boost that it gives you. Primarily the range boost. If you're playing Arena as Xbalanque, and again, I'm hoping to show you this in the next episode, if you're playing Xbalanque in Arena and you see a team fight starting and your allies are getting the worst end of it, you want to pop that ult so you can get there faster and throw your bolas from farther away, and then just kind of smoothly transition your way into your regular firing range, I guess. Joust has a different problem for Xbalanque, where his branching bolas just don't matter as much. They're nice for wave clear, sure, but beyond that limited specific situation in Joust, they're really not that useful. So it becomes rather difficult for Xbalanque to really utilize his full potential. And again, Hou Yi really focused in on the kills here because that's what Hou Yi does. He's really good at one-on-one combat. It's his specialty. You'll eventually see this when I cover Hou Yi. And they're just completely opposite ends of the hunter spectrum, that it's just really fascinating to see it in action and how little difference that can make if you really don't use it right, because I was obviously farming more than Hou Yi. That's why I was able to keep up with him, relatively speaking, despite his huge kill lead. And he, despite having his huge kill lead, didn't do anything with his kills, right? He didn't turn around and farm that often. And that was exactly why he wasn't so far ahead of me that it would make your eyes pop out of your head. That's why. Farming is all about the experience in gold. Getting kills in this game right now, as of this meta, is about denying your opponent the ability to farm. That's what it's about. That's why when I did my beginner's guides, that's why I said forcing an enemy to go back to base is just as good as getting a kill a lot of the time. Because early game, the cooldown timers are so quick that it's really not that impactful. But them just going back to the fountain in the first place is good enough where you're going to gain probably a level advantage and probably a third of an item ahead as well, at the very least. That's why I said that. And this is, I think, the clearest example of the difference there between going after the kills and farming. Kills aren't that big of a deal. It's just about farm denial. So I hope this really clarified a lot of things for you, particularly the issues of Xbalanque and Joust. I normally talk about how you should have this or that other hunter in your back pocket, and unless you main Xbalanque, this is actually the very specific reason why I don't recommend Xbalanque as a back pocket hunter. And also, this is a great example of why I don't recommend Hou Yi as a back pocket hunter. both of these characters are not great back pocket hunters because Xbalanque is at his best in group situations, and even then, he's only at his true best in Slash and Conquest. So, as a back pocket hunter, he's got a rough time in every other mode. So, if you are randomly dragged by a friend into one of these two modes and you're not familiar with them, Xbalanque is not a good backup hunter to have on hand. And the same thing with Hou Yi, but a little different. Hou Yi is interesting to farm with. Now, a lot of Hou Yi mains are going to come out and say, well, your Ricochet is amazing for farming. Yes, that is true. But your Ricochet is also your crowd control as a hunter. If you utilize your Ricochet to clear a wave, you are now at a disadvantage in your next boxing match as long as that Ricochet is on cooldown. And that's a risk. You have to know Hou Yi pretty well to do this. You have to know you have to know the combat of the particular mode you're in. Conquest is a little bit easier to predict because there's a wealth of videos on ADC gameplay for Conquest, but there's far less for other modes, so it can be a little bit more difficult to research hunter behavior in other modes, and for you as Hou Yi to properly time when to ricochet a wave and when not to ricochet a wave, and that just is going to, at that point, come down to practice. But for the same reason, I don't recommend Hou Yi as a back pocket hunter. He's also trash in Arena. Well, I can't say he's trash, but his wave clear in Arena is trash because he's got nothing to ricochet off of that'll hit a wave consistently, most of the time. So he has a really hard time farming in Arena, which really hurts his viability in late game Arena when Arena doesn't have much of a late game anyway, so how much of a downside that is depends on your point of view. But I don't recommend either Xbalanque or Hou Yi as back pocket hunters for this exact reason. Alright, you know, I might as well talk about hunters that I do recommend as back pocket hunters now that we're on the subject really quick. So, if you're a hunter main or an ADC main, depending on how you want to interpret that, and you're looking for someone to have as a backup in case your main is not good in that situation, I would recommend a couple of different options, right? I talked about this to some extent with the SMITE guide to hunters and their selection, but I'd like to just randomly cover it again just in case you didn't see that or you felt that a beginner's guide wasn't going to help you at all. The Xbalanque video is a bit random for this, but that's, you know, whatever. I do find that for back pocket hunters, I would recommend Cernunnos, actually. Cernunnos is fairly interesting, where he's got the heavy glaive, because this is actually really great for wave clear if you're farming alone. This is also pretty handy in Arena, especially if you build non-crit with him. But even if you're looking to save up your Bramble Blast for a boxing match, you've got Shifter of Seasons for some lifesteal if you need to heal yourself up a little bit. Maybe you're going against a tanky opponent with Autumn Decay. He's an absolutely fantastic hunter as a back pocket. He's got a lot of options to deal with various opponents at any given time, thanks to, I don't know why I keep exiting out of it, thanks to Shifter of Seasons. His Bramble Blast is really nice and makes for great wave clear, but it's not what I would describe as strictly necessary for his boxing. He boxes fine without this. You don't need this, quite frankly, Shifter of Seasons alone. If you are careful about what season you're using against which opponent, this is pretty much all you really need for most boxing matches. I think, off the top of my head, only Scotty and Hou Yi can actually beat him out in a boxing match, if neither used abilities, and I'm assuming Scotty, I'm considering Calder to not be an ability here. But I think those are the only two that can easily beat him, and Chernabog, I suppose I should say. I might want to clarify that for Chernabog. But Cernunnos is an excellent back pocket hunter. So is Hachiman, for the unique reason of not only is he the only hunter that has great MP5 regeneration thanks to his Master of Arms passive, but the Heavenly Banner is actually a really fantastic ability for both wave clear, and you can easily just use this to turn on somebody if you get surprised while farming. You throw down the Heavenly Banner, it does damage to the wave, that's great. Then you go into the Heavenly Banner's area of effect, and you have boosted attack speed. Someone jumps you while you're doing this, even if you can't put down your Heavenly Banner, guess what? You have increased attack speed, so you can turn on them and box more effectively because they made the unwise decision of jumping you while you've got Heavenly Banner down. And worst case scenario, you can Ijutsu into them for great aggression, a surprise aggression. Not a whole lot of people expect this. You can potentially get the stun if you actually line this up correctly, and you do some damage on top of that, right? And he's got one of the best escapes amongst hunters. I think only Apollo beats Mount for this, and even then I'll argue against that. Mounted archery is an absolutely fantastic escape method that can also do damage if you're fast enough as well. So I would recommend Hachiman or Keranos as back pocket hunters. Now, why do I recommend a back pocket hunter? Well, specifically, just in brief, no matter who you main as a hunter, there should be you should be really familiar, or at least familiar enough to be effective, with a hunter that can fit pretty much any situation. And Hachiman and Keranos are, in my opinion, the best for this, because even if somebody surprises them, which is a big problem for a lot of hunters, you've got someone who can turn around and deal with that problem even as they're going along. Now, I recommend these as back pocket hunters specifically because they're kind of general purpose. They don't have any kind of very specific specialty or any kind of special strategy going on a lot of the time, except Keranos' secret extra damage at melee range. Hands down, Xbalanque is one of the best team fight hunters in the game. Only Izanami can really beat him for that. Some people might say, well, the ult from Cupid makes a bigger impact. You know, Scotty can really slap in team fights. And Chernobog, of course, with his little exploding passive, that's fairly impactful, or Charybdis' ult. And my answer to all of that is sure, that is true. They all can impact a team fight with those specific situations with their ults, i.e. Xbalanque has a consistent impact with the absolute devastation that you can bring to bear with branching bolas. Now keep in mind, again, splits into two that hits enemies up to 30 units behind for a third, well, slightly over a third of your damage. A third of your basic attack damage. Alright? That is constant. That is not an ultimate. That is a constant ability to hit 3 enemies with your autos. 2 of them for slightly over a third of your damage, sure. But you're still hitting 3 enemies with this. And it just... Izanami is the only one that compares, and that's only because her Kama go through enemies. So, that is... If she lines up her attacks, she has equal potential to be impactful in a team fight, but Xbalanque you don't really have to be as careful about, because the branching bolas will mildly home in on targets, which is fairly interesting. If you watch Xbalanque's branching bolas, you'll see this. But yeah, Xbalanque is hands down one of... I'll actually stand up and die on the hill of... He's better at team fights than Izanami is. He's not as good as at wave clearing, for the obvious reason that he doesn't have the branching bolas fire down in a straight line, like Izanami's do. So he does have that disadvantage compared to Izanami, but in team fights for hunters, you cannot beat Xbalanque. And that's exactly the problem with jousting with Xbalanque. It's just not as impactful. But with that being said, thank you all very much for joining me. If you liked this, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, please ignore me. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, suggestions, or requests, please leave them down in the comment section below. And thank you all very much for joining me, and have a great 24 hours.